ordered a few things for the GTI on Black Friday, and I got that stuff in now, so I was going to go over what I got and kind of how it's going to look like on the car and the reason that I bought the parts that I did. So let's go ahead and take a look at the things I got. So these are one of the things that I ordered for the GTI on Black Friday. These are camber plates that I got from Sweden. And the purpose of these is changing the angle of the strut assembly, so it allows you to add camber to the car, you know, either positive or negative, which negative is typically what you want. A lot of drift guys use that. A lot of race cars have camber, and what that does is when the wheel has a little bit of camber to it, when you lean into the corner, now you have full tire on the ground. Whether it's if you have the tire like this, flat, you know, straight up and down, when you lean into the corner, now you're on the outside edge of the tire. You don't have full grip of the tire. So these allow up to 3 degrees of camber from the top point. These are what they look like complete all together. They come in 3 different parts. They're all CNC'd aluminum together. They look like really nice quality, and I went with these ones because they're the only ones on the market that allow up to 3 degrees of camber. I don't know if I'll quite get to that much camber on this thing. It's just gonna depend. Kind of how the wheels are fitting and the tires and all that stuff. These are what they look like apart. So it's my understanding the strut clearly goes through this part, and then this is the second piece, and I think this piece goes up under the cup on the car to mount the struts, and then I think this sandwiches it on the top portion, and it's all held together with all these bolts here. These bolts, you loosen them, which can allow this piece to slide, which will adjust the camber and allow the tilting of the strut. So this is kind of the factory setup here. And I know I have had a couple people mention that, you know, you can loosen these 2 bolts here and you can lean this part in towards the strut, which would create camber. The only problem with that is I'm planning to run really big tires on this car. And when you have the strut straight and you're leaning this part in towards, what you're doing is you're leaning the tire in towards the strut, which you'd have a problem with the tire hitting the strut. It's already pretty close up here as it is already. And with me planning to run as big of a tire in here as possible, the tire would end up hitting the strut and I wouldn't be able to run very much camber with some really wide tires. So the advantage of that is where those mount is up underneath here at the very top, which will change the entire angle of the whole strut assembly rather than just leaning the rotor section and the spindle towards the strut. So they'll be replacing all of this stuff here, and I believe the top portion will be here, and then the other portions will come up from the bottom. So that's the advantage of those. That's the advantage of these camber plates. I don't know anybody that's ran these ones yet, but I'm really excited to give them a go and see how they work and see how they fit on the car with my big tires. So another thing that I ordered was a Fabless Manufacturing racing front cross member, which supports the engine. The engine mount will bolt here, and then it bolts to the frame of the car here. The radiator mounts on these points here. Basically, this piece here is the new one that I just got, which is really stout. It eliminates any vibration or movement in the front end. This is what the factory setup is. It has bushings here for the cross member. You can see the motor mount style there. And then this is the radiator support bar. So, I mean, it's going to be lighter. It's going to free up space, and it's just going to hold the engine and the front end better from moving less. It will corner better, and the engine will be more stable. So that's another thing that I got. This is from Fabless Manufacturing. And then I believe that these are Speeding Industries, I think is what this company's called. So the Fabless front cross member bar, it did come with like the motor mount bracket, and all the bolts and stuff like that are down in there, just so everybody knows it came with all that stuff too. So the third and final thing that I ordered for Black Friday was new coilovers. A long time ago, I had some damage to one of my struts. Sorry, the garage is a big mess with all the Christmas gear right now, but I snapped the threads off of a strut. It's a long story, but one of the back bolts underneath here backed out and tried to tighten it at a shop with their air gun, and it snapped the threads off. So that strut's been damaged for quite a while, and it's been hanging in there, but it was just time for some new coilovers. So I went ahead and went with BC Racing coilovers. And the reason that I did that was because of the design. And I'll show you guys here in a second. So the design of these coilovers is the Japanese style coilover suspension, where the body, this part where it mounts to the body, is the part that you adjust. So that adjusts the ride height. The strut basically shortens and gets shorter or longer. And you never mess with the spring tension. You don't ever mess with these. Whereas the traditional style Volkswagen coilovers and German car coilovers, as you lower the tension on the spring on this style, you are reducing the tension on the spring, meaning the lower you go down, the less tension's on the spring and the more likely it is to bounce. And this car is not low by any means, but I just decided that I wanted to give these a try. I had a buddy that had K-Sports back in the day with this style, and he really liked them. The car rode really good, even really low. Again, like I said, this car's not going to be super low, but these are 30-way dampening, adjustable. They're typically on a lot of Japanese cars. They come pretty highly recommended, so I'm excited to put them on the car. So yeah, this is the final thing that I ordered for Black Friday. So I'm excited to get those paired up with my new camber plates and get them on the car towards the end when I'm finishing everything up. But yeah, super excited. Can't wait to finish all this stuff up and get this thing on the road. See you guys till next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.